Hello there, Kansas City. Stephen St. John here with another episode of Hot Mic with SSJ. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Patrick Carter, KCFarmersAgent.com. Thank you, Patrick Carter, for all of your wonderful efforts. And if you're looking for someone to help you with your insurance, go local. Go Patrick Carter, a loyal listener of the Border Patrol, Sports Radio 810, and Hot Mic with SSJ. Patrick Carter says he doesn't like the other hosts as much as me. That's why he specifically sponsors this podcast. He does like Lebo, unless he's on the other shows, and then he says he's but thank you, Patrick Carter, Hot Mic with SSJ. Also, our good friends at CBD American Shaman. Why don't you check out CBD American Shaman? They're wonderful topical ointments and creams, and their vapes, and the delicious flour, and also their edibles, their gummies, so good. And if you get just a little buzz from American Shaman, then this podcast will be more entertaining. So thank you to CBD American Shaman, CBDAmericanShaman.com. Very difficult to forget that fucking website because it's the actual company.com. And also our newest sponsor, KC Grilling Company, KCGrillingCo.com. Man, oh man, is that a good place to go shop for Father's Day? You know, I've been talking with Mike Boddicker. Mike Boddicker just got a Blackstone grill, the fat grill, the flat grill. He can get out there and make delicious hamburgers. You could do a hibachi Japanese steakhouse.
Pancakes.
You do like Beverly Hills Ninja with Chris Farley. Remember when he was doing that and flipping shit up and down? You know, I'd love to do that. Also, breakfast. Yeah, hash browns. You want
like a short order cook.
You want to go in there and Waffle House without the filth. You go in there, it's wonderful. Hey, I'm sorry.
You want Waffle House to be a sponsor?
I want the filth.
The last time I went to Waffle House, it did not pass my code. And so but I still ate.
I saw that on Snapchat.
You did, right?
Yeah.
Okay, there were some questions, weren't there?
But yeah, kid, big time.
Waffle House, I
KC
love you.
Grilling
Get your
Company.
shit together, okay? Because I want to keep going there at 2 a.m, please. Now, Ben thought that was funny. That's all I care. I'm playing this.
Yeah.
Ben's my fucking audience. I don't care about nothing else. And also, at KC Grilling Company, again, the home of the Nate Bukaty bologna chub, 3 or 5 pounds. Nate loves to go out there once a week, just hold it and just feel, just to get the girth of it.
I'm going to smoke this bologna.
Absolutely. And so you go out there, they have wonderful items. Get that Blackstone grill. Buy me one, too.
Best burgers, they
Flat
say.
top. Oh, man, everything. Smash burgers. You know what that is. Okay, so, that voice, Jake Gutierrez, is back for another episode. And now we've got Todd Lebo. Todd listened to the last time Jake was on this podcast.
We got the Grand Inquisitor.
Lebo had a bunch of questions for me in the office. Like, why don't you fucking ask him?
Yeah.
First of all, he got mad because he wanted me to have you test our tap water here.
I should have.
And he should have.
Because I'm the guy who drinks the tap water.
Yeah,
You're like a fool.
He drinks it right out of the faucet with no
better
cup.
than bottled water. I bet, we're in Johnson County.
Yeah.
It's pretty posh here.
I looked their pH balance up.
I bet it's above 7. I bet they got an 8. I bet it's.
Is that good?
That's good.
What do you want it to be?
So 7's
He's
neutral.
drinking 9.6 is what he's
9.5.
9.5.
But
Don't take it to 6.
No,
Right.
it goes by 5s.
Yeah.
I drink 11.5 once in a while. Like before I go to bed, and drink
Looking
11.
for
Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, it tastes like fish water.
Oh, so
Why
great.
do you want that?
Because I mean, it's like
Why do you want to
9.5.
fucking drink fish water?
9.5 tastes delicious. It's the best tasting water I've ever had in my life. But 11.5.
Ask him if he's even drank any of your
I
water
have.
you gave him.
Did you? What'd you think?
I can't drink it all in one day because I just don't drink that much. But I've been.
Well,
no,
you
I
need to drink more water.
You know what?
Regardless of what kind of water it is, you need to drink
And maybe
more
this
of it.
water, it improves when I drink it my digestive system.
Yes,
Is that,
yeah, absolutely. It cleans.
that's
yes.
the biggest. And I did when I drank it.
I gave you the 9.5. Tastes real nice and clean.
Oh, it
doesn't
does. No, I can taste the difference.
So my point on the math on this thing is, I think we're lucky to live in
Very lucky.
Kansas City because
Yes.
our water's good.
Like Flint,
So
Michigan water kills people.
when the man comes to you and he says, "You're spending $3,000 a year on water," I'm not, because I'm just drinking the
How
water.
the fuck do you
But
know
you're
what
still
you
getting
spend on water?
fluoride in that water, though.
I don't think we can have a fluoride conversation, I suppose, but I think that that's not killing us either. I know you tell me it's calcifying something.
Well, it is
Am I
killing.
too far gone?
Actually, the EPA just came out like there's no good amount of fluoride.
But why does my dentist give me fluoride?
Why is it in your toothpaste?
You're not, because you don't swallow it though. They put it on your teeth and then you spit it out.
How do you know what I swallow?
Well, goddamn.
Well, my point is,
if you're swallowing fluoride,
No, but I mean-
it's really bad for you. You don't swallow fluoride. They brush your teeth with it and you spit it out.
I think if I lived in Flint, Michigan, I would be. I'm not even sure
You'd be lighting it on fire.
Your Kangen machine would fix their tap water.
No, and like, so I have a pre-filter that filters my water before it goes to my Kangen water, so I get all the fluoride out, because the Kangen machine will filter most of it out.
Okay.
But it won't get everything out, but I have a pre-filter before it goes into the machine.
Well, if they decide that fluoride's really bad, they'll just take it out
We're
of
getting
water.
too
No, they
far.
won't.
Why won't they?
Why would they?
Well, because if it's bad for you,
Because
because they take the
with
lead
that
out.
He
the
theory-
says
mercury out.
he says they control you with the fluoride.
I understand what he's
but
saying.
it also it causes cancer big time. You're not, like, you on that toothpaste. It says do not swallow. If kids swallow toothpaste, you're supposed to call the poison control with high fluoride toothpaste.
Okay.
Anyway, here we go.
If fluoride is bad for you,
Yes.
What about Florida? Because I
he's
like his
good for
music.
everybody.
That's good dance music. I like it.
Fluoride
is that bad for
is
you?
different than fluoride.
Okay.
But so my point was,
no A.
I appreciate. Listen, I don't. You want to filter your water? That's good for you. You're not hurting anybody. Do whatever you want. But I was just like, when someone comes to me and tells me that I'm going to save this money because I'm doing it, I don't buy bottled
Let's just
water.
get to this.
I drink because
Why don't you buy some bottled water?
Because I drink the water that
Because
comes out of the
plastic
tap.
leaches into it. It's terrible for you. So here,
I drink the water that
The
comes
only
out
thing-
of the tap at my
Okay,
house.
let me ask you this. Okay,
And I
this
drink
is
the
from
water that
Susan.
comes out of the
Okay.
tap here.
you're not even being serious.
No, I'm being totally serious, and you're going to get mad at me.
Okay.
Because I do this, and she gets fucking furious when I do this.
All right.
And she tells me it's bad for me, and she doesn't go overboard. Like me and her butt heads on recycling. She wants to recycle everything. And I say, you know what?
It doesn't matter
I'm
now.
sorry, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at this point.
It doesn't matter
And she
now.
goes, you know what? That's
If it
not
doesn't
what I
matter,
want.
why do you do anything?
Well, I mean, we used to,
She
because
doesn't wanna-
China used to buy all our recyclables, and now they don't.
She doesn't want to give in and be a bad example for the kids. And I say, look, I've given up on that. I'm sorry.
I still do it, but it's
I recycle
irrelevant.
at home for her.
Yeah.
I throw away every fucking recyclable into a regular trash can in my
Yeah.
real life. You know, I'm sorry. I'm sorry,
Sorry,
Sushi.
Sue.
But okay, so here's what I do that makes her fucking mad, and then I tell her that's bullshit. But now you're gonna tell me that's horrible for me. Okay, I will. I know it's bad. I'll leave a bottle of water in my car for about a week.
Oh, that's really
in
bad.
the heat or
Oh,
whatever.
God, don't
and
drink
then I'll
that.
bring it in here
Oh.
and get it cold and then drink it. Or
No.
if it's
Do
like
not do
warm
that.
enough, get in there and just guzzle it.
I mean,
that-
it's
is
bad. It's bad. It leaches
sounds bad.
plastic into the water.
Do you think that's
the
bad?
heat,
I would.
it is bad.
I don't think it's as bad as Jake thinks it's bad, but
Susan thinks it's real bad.
It is
You know,
really-
can't
it
do
is
that.
really
She
bad.
goes, the heat hits
Activates the BPA.
Activates and something goes in the
Yeah,
water. Is that
BPA.
true? Or
Yes, she's right. She's absolutely right. But that's the problem with bottled water, because you don't have any idea how long that water sat before it got to your refrigerator. You don't know if it was on a loading dock.
That's my point, because I go, how do you know before we got our hands on it? You think they just put that water in there in
No.
IV and then gave you the water?
No, I mean, your point, she's absolutely right. Your point is right too, because you have no idea where it was, how long it sat there, what type of temperature is in. So
It's kind of okay. And me and her, she's gonna get fucking mad at me. We butt heads about this when we go to eat restaurant and fast food and everything else. She'll look at her food, and let me tell you, I love this woman with all my heart.
20 years of marriage.
Passionate love. I'm right now. Look at me. Passionate love. What I'm thinking about right now about my wife, boy, that would get me. Ooh.
you say whatever you want on this podcast.
Hey, but the point is,
She didn't want that.
it has been 15 years since she's been happy with anything that she ordered at a restaurant or fast food restaurant.
That's a long time.
She will find something fucking wrong with it.
Yeah.
In the littlest thing. And she'll and I always know, we'll get it, and she'll look at it, the sandwich, lift up that bread, she'll
ordered no
really
onions.
look at it. And she goes, I didn't want to cook that way, or I didn't want the onions this way. Whatever it is, something. And I love her and I get it, Or
I told them
she
pepper
wants
jack
she
cheese.
wants
God
food
damn it.
fucking like the surface of the sun.
Hot.
Piping hot. She'll give me something and it'll be fucking I can't eat this for an hour. What
Does
the
she like
fuck is
scalding
this?
hot showers too?
No, not really. No, not really.
All right.
But I like to finish my shower with turn it to as cold as possible.
Yeah,
ice
that's
cold.
awesome. That's really good
and
for
then
your health.
And then she gets in, turns it on. She goes,
but
"You
does the water you
motherfucker."
bathe in have fluoride in it?
Well, I mean, California is a big problem because when you it has a lot of chlorine in it in California, and so when you take a really hot shower in California, you're actually vaporizing the chlorine and you're inhaling that, and it's horrible for your lungs.
So I do one good thing with an ice cold shower at the end.
Great for you. Do it for like 30 seconds a minute every day.
I do as much as I can.
Great for your immune system.
How I know you're both sociopaths.
So then we she'll order something, and I'll know you don't like it, do you? Like, what's wrong with it or whatever. And then we'll talk about, whatever. She's inspecting it too much. And I said, baby, you don't really want to know
anything about
this
where
thing has
all
gone
it
through
comes
so
from.
many steps to you. The least of our worries is what's
Right,
there's other, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about, like with the bottles of water. So many things have happened.
Yeah.
The least of my worries is what's going on in my car. At least I know what's in my fucking car. And I shouldn't drink it, but I do anyway because I don't want to waste nothing.
But yeah,
or sometimes I'll take that.
The
water.
reality is, she knows for a fact it was
Right.
hot in your car, and
Right, I get it. But the way I look at it is just
you're both right, but she's
Yeah.
right because she's your wife.
What
Right.
you really need to do is clean your garage out, get your car in
Well,
the
the
garage.
real thing is stop drinking
want
bottled
some.
water, buy a Kangen machine, and drink.
Or just drink tap water.
What do we
out of a
have to
glass.
do? What
That's
do we have to
fine.
do
Out of a glass.
to get you into
Out of a
a
glass.
into a
No
Kangen
plastic.
machine today?
You're not getting
$5,000.
I'm not getting into your
See,
multi-level.
you can finance it. You can finance
here's the
it.
thing.
I know you can't, but I'm not.
The only thing is, like,
I am blessed to live in the
Yeah.
middle of America.
But here's the thing.
where we have good water.
No down payment.
good is the biggest enemy of the best. So don't you want the best?
You just want good.
He just wants me to be part of his pyramid.
You just want fucking good. Okay, now,
I don't care.
and Lucy, I love you. You know I love you.
I'm all about feeling good.
You know, and
Makes
she-
you feel good.
it
Do
does.
And but let me tell you this now. Sue is not happy with many things that she orders, but she is interested in this. And I swear to God, I'll fucking have your ass in a sling by the time.
It'll make
it's
your
over.
whole family healthy.
She is interested in this Kangen water machine.
It's medical grade water.
She is interested. You have her interest peaked.
So when we're
I
starting
don't
talking
like
about
it.
11.5, so people heal themselves of all kinds of autoimmune deficiencies, cancer. I mean,
We were listening to this.
According to Kangen.com.
no,
we were listening to the
according
podcast.
to life experience.
Driving up to pick Julia up after her after a very temporary stay at summer camp, where a day and a half into it, I was called.
Make it all the way? I know she tapped out.
Fucking kidding me?
I asked her last
it was
night.
a 5-day camp. She made a day and a half. She goes, "You need to come and get
You
me."
never should have brought her home.
She said
"What are
2
you
Oh,
days.
are
doing?
you fucking kidding me?
You keep her up there."
No, that's my
Yes.
baby girl.
I asked her
Oh,
last
Jesus.
Susan told me to fucking keep her up there, so I'm gonna go out. I said, "Listen, man, I'll walk. I'll
listen.
fucking walk to Atchison to get my daughter."
I asked her
Leave
last
her up
night.
there.
I asked
You know
her
what
last
she told
night.
me? You know what she cried? You know what she told me?
I miss you, Daddy.
I just want to be with you.
Oh, bullshit.
I know it is bullshit
Instead of
because she
pull your
doesn't.
fucking-
She doesn't want to be with me at
When she
all.
came home,
I would
wouldn't
believe
even
that
look
from
at you.
Selena, but I don't
Well,
believe that from
but I love
Julia.
that little girl.
We
And
used
there's
to
going to be a
take-
time when
Julia
she don't want to
doesn't
be with
miss
me.
nobody.
When
Right.
we'd have our kids down at Boy Scout camp,
she's
which was
ice
longer.
cold. I love that
Right.
It was
girl.
10 days.
No.
We'd have them down there, and there'd be a first-year kid. He was fucking homesick. He was like crying or something. And then like, maybe it's just send him. No, the answer is no.
Do you know why I went and got?
stay.
You know, she could have talked that. You know why I got her?
Because she fucking
No,
convinced you to come
no,
get
for
her.
the safety
gonna
of the
hurt
other
some-
kids there.
Yeah,
She will
she's
fuck someone
going
up.
crazy.
She is mean and she is tough and she she's. We've had.
you get a refund?
She's known for a technical foul here or there in basketball.
Did you get a refund?
No, it goes to a great cause.
Are you going to go try again next year?
If she wants to,
No.
yes. I will try. I wanted to try things.
Yeah, she might be.
And then when
later.
she went back for swim day at the water park and everything, we got what we wanted out of it. We tried something, but that's my baby.
So,
and
you
maybe
know,
and then
I got a
Susan goes,
question
leave
for
her
you.
up there. But I know I'm going to
the
go get her.
Klitschko brothers never fought, and if the St. John girls ever fought, my money would go. I love you, Selena,
Right.
but my Julia would
She's
win.
got the killer instinct.
Yes,
She's a fit.
yes.
So listen to me. So now Susan wants to buy this fucking. She's at least thinking, you know how. So we're
You're
driving up there
share
to get
water
to get
first.
Julia, and this is what she said. Because you fucking make this point, and I don't want to hear her agree with anything. I just don't. Because that means you're
Yeah.
fucking getting your hooks in her. And you
Or
said
I'm
something
making
like,
sense.
you go like, how much money do you think you spend on bottled water?
Right.
And you gave, what figure did you give a
I
year?
said, I worked with a guy,
Right.
so I sold a machine in Colorado, right? This guy was spending about $300 a month on bottled water.
And then you gave some figure, and
do the math.
and she was driving, and I was kind of
Do the math.
like,
I don't spend one penny on bottled
she was
water.
driving, and she looks at me, she goes, he's right. I said, I don't want to fuck. He's not right. He's
I
not
am right.
Here's what you need to do. Calculate this shit. How many half drank bottles of water, sit around the house
lot.
because the
In
girls
my
don't
car.
finish them and you don't finish them. That's your problem.
Go get
Well,
another
no,
cup of Coke.
like you shouldn't be drinking
And
out of that
Diet Dr.
plastic
Pepper.
Poison
shit.
anyway.
Yeah, that's
Poison
poison.
anyway.
Like your whole family will benefit from it.
Now, so what do we have to do to get you to buy a Kangen?
What was your?
machine
You
for
got a
water?
question? He's not buying.
No, here's
shit.
my question.
I'd have to get to your wife for.
She's not buying that either.
Didn't he smile?
She thinks you're crazy as fuck. She doesn't buy anything that you say. So
I'd share water with you guys for 3 weeks. If you start feeling like, I'll share all this. Like,
Lebo.
water share.
Lebo believes
I've
this.
got a question. I got a financial question for you. Not a financial, a health question.
Okay.
Because you believe in the health effects of this.
Don't leave the water though, because I have
No,
to
this is
ask
about
one
water.
thing.
This is about water.
All right.
Okay.
This is about water.
I love water.
You said it makes you healthier, autoimmune, the whole 9 yards. I'm going to ask you, and this is not some definitive thing or something. What do you think the healthiest thing you've done for yourself in the last 10 years has been? Is it quitting drugs, quitting drinking?
It's gotta be the quitting the drink.
water.
I mean, I'd be dead if I didn't quit drinking.
Yeah,
Right.
man,
I'd be
I vote
dead.
for that one.
But I mean, if you take that one out, like it's
But
hard.
if you were drinking Kangen water and drinking like you were doing, you would be fucked.
like it.
If you were mixing Kangen water,
It doesn't
with-
matter who you are. If you were drinking like I was drinking, I would pickle your liver.
Right.
Like,
Do you fucking know how much he was drinking?
Yes, I do.
There was no room in his system for any Kangen water.
Well, if you were making Kangen ice cubes for your drinks, you know what I mean?
no.
Like I wasn't going to say. So my
it was
point is, it's
poison.
healthy. But the worst thing you were doing for yourself wasn't drinking plastic bottle of water. The worst thing you were doing was
No,
drinking
but like
alcohol.
it's kind of a progressive thing, right?
Sure, and now you've taken a step, and now you're doing
And
other
that was-
things.
But I think the water, like, we don't understand how important water is.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
we have to have it to live, but like also to balance your body system. Like you drink tap water, that's great, but what's in that water and like why this helps your system is you just mentioned digestion
and sometimes
system.
I go days without drinking water.
Well,
Not
I
a
mean, like
drop.
you are detoxifying your
Drinking
body.
some delicious Overland Park water right now.
This water,
Out of metal.
This water,
Not plastic.
Better, yes, metal. That's way better. Stainless steel.
I'm doing my
Stop
part.
it with that shit. But what I'm saying is, like,
What if they made Dr. Pepper with Kangen water?
it would be probably really good, but it'd be really poison.
Okay.
I mean, that's
It's still poison.
Good-ass poison.
It's,
It's
some
the
good-ass
best poison ever.
It's some healthy poison.
You were making a point because I have to ask something before we leave.
Well, I'm
this.
just saying, it's completely antioxidant. I mean, you are detoxifying your
Yes.
body with this water.
There's
so that's
no
why,
there's no debate there. It's
yeah.
just,
I mean, there's like I think that I don't have the stat, but there's like 4 cups of the amount of antioxidants that are in blueberries, like 4 cups of blueberries are in like a 12-ounce glass of
Could I
Kangen
just
water.
And
could I
again,
just eat blueberries?
that's what
and
I
drink
asked
tap
him.
But that's a
water?
lot of blueberries, and that blueberries are fucking expensive.
I love blueberries.
Right, but they're
This
like,
sounds like this water's $5,000.
well, if you're drinking,
Who's that motherfucker from Willy Wonka that turned into a blueberry? I'd like
Wasn't
to.
it-
I'd like to
The
eat
girl.
some- I'd like to
There's a
turn
girl.
into a
Violet,
fucking blueberry.
Violet
yeah.
Beauregard.
oh,
I'd like
it
to
wasn't
turn into
Veruca
that's a
Salt.
delicious-
No, Veruca Salt went down the chute with a golden egg.
She
Violet
was- yeah,
Beauregard
she
was
was
the girl
spoiled.
who chewed gum all
Yeah.
the time, and she wanted to chew this
Right.
gum. He said, "It's not ready." Oh, stop! Don't! Oh, please
Oh.
don't! And she ate it, and she was eating it was like pot roast or something, and mashed potatoes, and oh, it's a blueberry. It's so good.
What
She
else,
started
honey?
saying,
What else you
We're gonna have to take
eating,
her
you know?
down to the juicer.
Right.
No, it's the antioxidants is what I mean. That's it, I feel good, and that's the whole. It's all about feeling good for me right now.
Right. If you're feeling good and you're not hurting me, it's fine. But I'm not buying a machine.
Can I
That's
ask?
fine.
Can I ask you this question?
I'm talking to Denise, so.
She's not buying a machine either.
What do you get when you guzzle down sweets?
Sweets?
Sugar?
Sugar?
See, Ricky Williams knew what the fuck was up.
He did.
Okay.
Yeah, he's.
Now
You're not
this-
smoking pot anymore.
No,
gonna get-
but it's smoking pot's for you better than wine.
Better than a Snickers.
I don't think so.
I totally think so.
When? Now let's
Talk about that.
Let's get to the water. Past whether or not this water is necessary for you to be healthy, Lebo believes this to be a pyramid scheme.
No, it's not.
It's multi-level marketing.
Yeah, It's not a pyramid scheme though. It's multi-level. I mean,
There's just a level here.
it's a
And there's
point.
a little level above. It's a little bit less, and then a little level.
It's a
little
point
bit-
tier
and it goes
system.
right to the
Describing
top.
a pyramid
it just
scheme,
shapes
that's
like
what
no,
you
it's
just
not.
said.
It's a point level system because eventually, like,
It's not illegal.
it's not illegal.
Is
but
this like
all-
Amway?
No, it's not like Amway. Eventually,
I think it is like Amway. Amway's
Eventually,
legal.
the more
Yeah,
I sell, I become. I like.
You get
I
to the top of the pyramid.
Well, no, you level out the people ahead of you.
Right.
So you
What's
move
the
them out.
cosmetic thing? These women
Mary
driving
Kay.
around.
Mary
Are
Kay.
just like Mary Kay.
I don't
You
know
get
how
a
Mary
pink
Kay
Cadillac?
works.
Tupperware.
But like the whole thing is like,
You didn't do this for that. You did this for the health benefits. And
right,
if,
and
if
it helps
someone
people.
wants to buy this,
I know people that I swear by it, and they try it, and they're like, I need one of these.
You used to swear by Southern Comfort too.
Yeah, but that kills me. Like this
This
doesn't kill
water
me.
provides him with real comfort.
Do you think this is something you will do for the rest of your life?
Absolutely. I mean, but that's the thing. These machines are built to last longer than we do. I mean, that literally they're.
How do you know that?
Because of how they're built and how they're made and how long
Where
they
they made?
last. Made in Japan.
Oh boy, not
What- by
American
what?
made.
No.
You got this
By
foreign
a
water.
magic. It's not foreign water.
What's it made by? Like, what's it made out of? Like, what are you talking about?
I mean,
Plastic.
well, there's
Oh no, it's fucking made out of plastic.
titanium covered, platinum titanium covered plates are what make the water electric.
All right,
Yeah.
now
Electrons.
you.
I got another. Can we move on to a different thing?
We
With
are
the water?
moving on.
We're moving on to citizenship. 'Cause I
Okay,
got a
this
question.
is here we go.
Because here's what I didn't.
This
I
is
watched
what-
the whole podcast.
This is so. Let's reestablish
and
for people.
we've had a bunch of you and I have had real talks about this for a couple of
Okay,
years.
tell people again. Just reintroduce us. What you've done, what you've declared, what you are, and what what
So it's called
what the fuck?
my political status, my standing, right? My national. I am a private American national. I'm a non-U.S. citizen.
And how's that different than me or Todd?
You guys are both U.S. citizens.
But what do you not do that we do, or what are the differences?
I'm basically, I have taken over the right of a straw man account that was created. You guys still have a straw man account in your name that is run by basically a corporation that's a trust. And they're the beneficiaries of your account. You guys are the trustees of your Social Security account. You guys are the trustees. The U.S. government, they're the beneficiaries of your account, right? What I've done is saying, basically, you guys, we're all born and we're playing a big Monopoly game, right? And they say, here, you're the thimble, that's your account. You get to be the car,
Yeah.
and I'm the shoe, right? What I've done is saying, I'm taking my piece off the board. I'm no longer playing your Monopoly game.
Now, you're
I'm
saying this is all because of Social Security.
Yes, a large portion of it.
Because
is.
like my wife was a teacher and didn't participate in Social Security. She had a pension. So is she not a United States citizen like I am? Is a different thing.
No, I mean she was born. Her parents. She has that Social Security number, doesn't she?
Yeah, but her birth certificate wasn't all caps.
But so that's the certificate of live birth. She still has a birth certificate somewhere.
But it's not in all caps. This whole all caps thing.
It's
is
an
bullshit.
account.
It's bullshit.
It's not
Yeah,
bullshit.
It's
an
straw man thing
account.
is bullshit.
It's not because you were registered with the county clerk. You were. If her parents filled out a form, that it doesn't matter. You can say
It's just semantics. Certificate of live birth certificate.
no, it's not.
Capitals, all caps.
Here's what it does. It puts you under the jurisdiction of the U.S. government, which was created to give the slaves a nationality.
Well, they also had national naturalization in like the 1700s too, when America first came around. It wasn't just
no. But your
1865 or whatever.
nationality was what state you were born in. That's what your nationality. So you've heard the term like get your house in order, right? Is because our great grandparents didn't deal with this shit. They were private American nationals, but they also had to have their house in order. They had to have their shit in order. They had to have their paperwork done properly, right?
Well, that's how our civilization runs.
But so once
some order.
but once they changed that, we don't know anything about it. Our parents were taught what their parents taught them, and their parents taught them, right? So generationally,
So here's my question.
Okay.
When we get right to the bottom line of this, why do you do this?
why
did you do this?
Yeah, like what do we do that you don't want to do?
Okay, so say that there's a U.S. government mandate, and they say you have to do this. They can't make me do that because I'm not under their jurisdiction. Right?
Give me an
What, like,
example.
give an example.
I mean,
Like,
I
like,
hate to go here. I hate to go here, but let's go here. This fucking hot mic. It's gonna be real fucking hot,
Well, great.
right? So say what we just experienced in 2020 and 2021. What if the government they could make it a law within their government that you have to take the vaccine? You have to take this because you're a U.S. citizen.
Or like if you were like you're supposed to by law back in the day register for the draft, selective service.
Right. You
Things
have
like
to
that.
do this.
So you don't want to do.
I don't want any government to
tell you
dictate
anything.
anything to what I have to do with my body or my being, right? I'm an individual put here by
So do you think that this, like the pandemic, was a catalyst for you to say, I don't want to do this?
Well, what it was is a
was there
catalyst.
something
It was a
before that?
catalyst for a lot of people to do that.
I'm talking about you, though.
Me individually, I heard some guy talking about this, and I was like, this guy is fucking nuts. He's crazy. And then at the end of his talk, he said, if you think I'm fucking nuts, if you think I'm crazy, good. Go do your own research
Right.
and see what you find out.
What other things that the government does that you don't want to be a part of?
I mean, like, I will no longer be paying taxes.
Federal income tax.
Federal income taxes.
You have to pay taxes on
I have to
lots
pay
of
taxes
things.
on lots of things.
Can you get out of a
I don't-
Ticketmaster convenience fee?
No.
How do you feel,
Nobody
now, How do
can.
you feel about him saying he will no longer pay federal income taxes?
Well, you don't have a job right now, so that's not an issue.
Right, correct. But I mean, I
Now, but so like if you went and worked at a place, you would have to tell them. Here,
I'm a
I got
private.
a piece of paper,
I'm a private American national.
and then they tell the government that they're
we
not
have a
taking
private
taxes
American
out.
national. I have it all. Like so I still have a piece. I can still do commerce, right? I still can do public, like I can be in the public. I'm a private American national, but when I choose, I could put my piece back on the board and say I want to make money, but now I have control of this piece.
Yeah, isn't kind of like bullshit that you're gonna have your cake and eating it too? Then
No, because this is how our country is set up. So I'm not doing anything against the law. I'm not doing anything that isn't allowed to be done. There are thousands of people
Right.
who do this.
Who can do this.
But they don't want people knowing about
Sure,
it.
I get that. I think there are certainly things that they can do that
But
way.
the-
But you think there'll be a problem? Let's say, I mean, right now you're running your own life with your. And have a book, and you're going to do what you're
Yeah.
going to do. But if you tried to get a job somewhere, do you think this would be something where they said, maybe not worth hiring this guy if we got to go through some shit with a government?
No, because literally all you do is have to fill out a form. You're going to fill out a form anyways for me, right? You're going to have me fill out a W-2,
yeah.
right? You're doing the exact same shit. You're going to have to fill out a form. It's just not a W-2. It's a W-8-BEN or something.
Right? Someone has to believe enough in you to have you work there to say it's worth having the government then start looking at them.
Right, but
Right.
how many people do private contracting work? I can do private contracting work. I'm hiring you as a private contractor.
Cash business right there.
Right, I mean, I'm just saying, like they.
Well, you have to report your own income.
But
on
I
those
give
things.
them a private contracting. Here. You need to.
So,
turn this
like
in.
right now, you've made money in your life, and then there is money in Social Security for you. Have you forfeited all that, or you
So
still theoretically get that
I have
money?
taken over that account, right? And what that means, we kind of talked about this. So I will never have my hand on tangible cash. Like you can, like when you retire, you get that goes in, that's your money. But I have an account, right? And what I can do is any debt that's created in my all caps name, I can allocate that money towards that debt. So whatever I accrue within that,
What debt would you have in your all caps?
I don't know, if I go get a cell phone bill,
And the cell phone, what if the cell phone bill comes and it's not in all caps?
I will.
I'm very suspicious of this all caps.
So when they bill me, I will direct here. You need to bill this account, and they'll go get that money from that account. They don't care as long as they get their fucking money.
So like your cell phone now.
So some people do this when they get in really bad credit card debt, right? And they do this.
So it's just a game to try to fix your life. You fucked it up.
I
for
mean,
some
no,
people?
it's all about debt. Our country was like this was set up on debt.
Well, that's because there was like the depression was going down.
Right,
Yeah.
and so I mean, like we were fooled into the system. This was set up without us knowing it. And now it's just become a way of life. But this was set up on purpose to take control. The banks, they call them the Federal Reserve, but the banks, they're gonna always have us in fucking debt, right? And what I'm doing is I'm taking my power back.
So the other part of this is, and this was where you and Steven kind of talked around and around a little bit last time about the driving. And that's what I told you before. I said, here, just do this favor for me. Would you please fix your fucking windshield?
I did.
Because I didn't want anyone to have an
Sure.
excuse to pull you over.
No.
Because I think if you get pulled over and you try to pull this thing, it more often than not is there's a chance to go south.
There's actually a case going on right now in the state with a man who was pulled over and he was cited for obstructing an officer's ability to can do his job. Is a
Right.
misdemeanor
My
crime.
point is, the
Right
best
now,
thing in the world
Kansas-
is to not ever have to deal
Kansas
with
is
a traffic stop.
He's going to get a lot of money when he takes this case federally because so I have a paper that when I It's already submitted. It's already recorded. So if I'm arrested, right, and they hold me in jail, like they are doing that. Everything I sign is under duress, right? I will never, like, everybody who's in prison right now agreed to be in prison. They agreed to it. They broke the law. They committed a crime, and then they have to fucking sign the piece of paper that says you're going to jail. Mm-hmm. It's an agreement. Like, well,
what other choice do they have? Like for instance, like my dad. Like, what choice did he have?
He didn't have a choice because he's under the jurisdiction of the U.S. government. He agreed to participate in their laws, right?
So here's a question. So let's say someone comes here on vacation from Canada, and they're driving a car here, and they drive 90 miles an hour down 435. Can they say, I'm from Canada, I'm not a U.S. citizen, I don't have to...
No, because at that point in time, he becomes an enemy of the state if he refuses, right?
Would you be an enemy of the state
No,
too?
because I'm an American. I'm a private American national. I'm not an enemy of the state. So that's like where...
But if you go and break the law, you're going to go to jail.
No, if I commit a crime, I'll go to jail. If they try to hold me in jail for breaking a law... then they're going to end up paying me, and it happens. And it happens to people. Like,
but you think there are people out here who've done this who would just drive around looking for trouble?
I mean, no, because the work, the intelligence level that you have to acquire, and the work that you have to do, most people, and almost all the people I've met have done this. They're not people that want to go around breaking laws. They don't, because it's going to take your time up. You're going to get compensated for your time. That's the fee schedule. You remember
What's the fee schedule?
That's what I have a fee schedule that is turned in and it's documented. It's documented with the government, with counties, and it's agreed.
What is the fee schedule?
My fee schedule, if they put me in jail, I'm probably, I can't tell you, I have it in my email. It's like $250,000 a day that they keep me in jail.
So you just made that up arbitrarily and said you're going to have to pay me $250,000?
Yes, this is my fee schedule.
In fake money, though.
Right. No, I mean, they credit my account. And like, if I could plea and say...
This doesn't sound believable at all.
Right. Absolutely it doesn't. It doesn't sound believable. And I was sitting exactly where you were in October being like, this guy is batshit crazy.
Like, if you go stab a guy or rob a bank, you're going to jail.
I committed a crime.
But you're going to jail.
I committed a crime.
You're telling me if you get pulled over because you have a broken headlight and then you sit there and you say, I'm a private citizen, I don't have to do anything, and the cop doesn't like this, he takes you to jail, and you just hand them a bill and say, you owe me $250,000 because you arbitrarily made up a fee.
I made a fee up, but they agreed to the fee.
Who agreed to the fee?
The U.S. government.
They've
agreed to my fees. They've agreed to all my paperwork.
Now, they agreed to yours because when you turned the paperwork in, you said you have 50 days to agree to this, otherwise it's
recorded.
Ruled.
It's recorded.
But they didn't actually agree.
Yes, they agreed.
Did they send you a thing that says, hey, yeah, Jake, we got your note, we agree?
But the thing is, they can't.
You can't just say
they can contest it. They look over all my paperwork, and if there's something to contest, they'll contest it. Being like, no, we don't agree to that.
Did anyone confirm this paperwork?
Yeah. Yes.
Who did?
Bighorn County in Montana. That's where I registered.
But that's a state or a county,
right? But it's all federal. Like, it's a county going by federal government.
But when you said didn't you basically say if you don't contest this, you're agreeing to my fees?
You are agreeing to, yes, but that's their job. Like, they have people looking over this stuff. Like, that's the crazy thing. Like, the government is aware of this because thousands of people do it.
Okay.
You know, and I had to have things authenticated through the Washington, D.C. I mean...
But if your $250 day in the county clink fee... Could you just put 200,000 instead of 250?
I could have.
Why did you pick 250?
Because that
seems egregious.
Well, so it's putting me in jail for breaking one of your laws, and I'm not under your jurisdiction.
So, once again, what is it?
See, there's judges that understand this. They're called Circuit 3 judges.
Well, yeah. There's some. Listen, judges are judges. Some do, some don't.
Some don't, right? And they're usually Circuit 1 and 2 judges. But Circuit 3 judge, like a Circuit 1 or 2 judge, like if I go into their courtroom, I instantly take over their courtroom. I instantly take over the courtroom with the right verbiage, the right words, and I submit the documentation.
The idea is to not have to go to court.
Right, absolutely. Okay. I don't want it, but like people.
So is that why you set this jail fee so high? To keep me out?
Well, I mean, there's people that set it as $1 million.
Okay,
Like, there's people that arrest people illegally. They lose their jobs. They put somebody in jail in the state because the state. If you look at how the states run, right? The states run as a business.
Now, some people are more used to this than others in different states or different
Right.
counties or
The
whatever.
states are run as a business. They claim it. They claim that we're running this as a business. We're doing business as the state of Kansas, right? So they make billions of dollars, right? People lose their jobs because they don't fucking know what they're doing. They arrest the wrong people. That person stays in jail for 2 days, and all of a sudden the state owes this guy $3 million. Well, guess what? If the state owes that guy
Tax-free.
Yeah, if the state owes that guy $3 million, you better bet your ass that when that guy ended up in jail, the people that put him there are going to get fucking
So what
fired.
are your other fees? Like, what if someone just detains you for like 10 minutes in a car talking?
I mean,
about
there's fees like if you hold me in court under duress for an illegal arrest. Like every question that
every arrest is illegal in your mind unless it's a
no,
true crime.
if a crime, if I'm arrested for a crime, then you have every.
So what's the definition of a true crime?
According to Black's Laws Dictionary, which every court system in the United States goes by. They're at like version 8 of this
You
dictionary.
get Lance on the fucking phone.
Yeah,
I've
Lance
talked
will
to
know
Lance
it.
about
He
this.
knows about Black's Law
When
Dictionary.
he talked to me about Black's Law Dictionary, it's just a guideline. It's not laws. It's just definitions.
All of it. See, that's what it all is.
It's just
all,
definitions.
It's just language.
Yeah.
You got to know the language. That's what I'm talking about. Like if you know the language, you can play the game.
Yeah.
That's why I said you don't need I don't need to have a bar exam to go represent myself.
No, you can always represent yourself in
Right, and
court.
so that's what I'm
Anyone
saying.
A man who represents himself in a court of law has a fool for a client.
If you're ignorant, yes. But if you're educated,
private
and
U.S.
if
citizen
you
who
know the
does it.
language, if you speak the language,
Okay.
then you're
So,
okay.
what was
too
the
fucking far out here.
No.
No,
So
the real-
the definition by Black's Laws Dictionary of a crime is when you do harm to a person or entity. When you cause harm to a person or entity. So I can't go rob a bank because I'm causing harm. I can't go walk into 7-Eleven saying, "Hey, here's a pack of gum. I'm taking
Where
it."
does
What if you're-
vandalism
what if
go?
you're-
Like, what if you broke a window in a
That's
thing?
causing
Basically,
harm.
You're just talking
What
about
if you're speeding and run some off the road?
What, did that person? I mean,
if you caused a wreck. You're saying if I was just speeding or I turned. What if you?
if I
what
didn't
if you
stop
what if
all the
you-
way to stop sign.
What if you turned left on a red?
And I don't call, and I just turned left, and there was no harm caused to a person or entity, then I didn't cause a crime.
So basically, there's a very thin little area of just traffic stops, is what this is about.
well, I mean, there's lots of things like
You can't go kill someone or do anything like that. But
I-
most
anything
these little $50 fine things for speeding or not obeying a traffic signal and all
or
those things.
stupid things like not paying your taxes, like that goes under. I don't like they can't arrest me for that because I'm not under the jurisdiction of what a U.S. citizen has to do.
So all this is so.
And the real catalyst for this was
Fucking-
you just don't want to be told what to do.
Right,
it
like-
wasn't
like-
about taxes as much.
Okay,
or
so
wasn't about,
this is where I want to go with this. Now listen, why have you gone? Because I feel okay. I feel like I have a happy life. Todd, you happy with your life?
It's good so far. Yeah.
But why have you gone to these great lengths to do all these things? Where from the outside looking, it doesn't seem like it's worth all the fucking trouble.
I don't think it's trouble. I think
But
it's been incredibly educating. I feel like I know so much more about our country's history. I know so much more about trust law. I know so much more about my personal individual rights as a human being. I know so much more. So it's like, it's no trouble. You call it trouble. I call it education. I've just been educating myself on a level that most people I'm around, they don't have that education and they think I'm crazy. But what I've done is I've acquired a lot of education.
This is an honest question. I'm no kidding.
Sure.
What would your parents say about this?
Oh, I think my mom would be on board. I think my mom would do it with me. I think she'd be like, yes.
Because I don't think your dad would be on board.
My dad would probably not.
I feel like he'd be really fucking
My
mad.
dad is a very simple man. He's a very simple man.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
But because I thought about this and I thought, like, what would Jake's dad? Because we talk about this. What would our dad? What would my mom?
dad
say?
would be like,
I feel
"You're
your dad
fucking nuts,
Would want
son."
to fight you about this.
He didn't like to fight anybody. He would be like, you do what you need to do, but he would have no interest.
Do you think? We've talked about a lot of these things on this and off this. So like, we know that you've been sober from alcohol since the November of 2014, right?
Yes.
And then so that opened your mind in a way.
Yeah.
And then you you still would smoke weed every once in a while for quite a while, and now you haven't done that for a couple of years,
Yeah,
right?
for quite a while,
So that's opened your mind a little bit more.
I mean, I don't put anything. I don't even put ibuprofen in my body anymore. I
So
put no drugs in my body.
James Franklin over here. Remember the Missouri quarterback wouldn't take a pill?
I put so many things in my body.
So,
let's be honest with you.
do you think that not doing those things, you used to gamble,
Right? Don't gamble
used
anymore.
to do things, running around the streets of foreign cities that you don't do anymore.
These are called vices.
Do you think that not having those vices, your mind is always looking for something
God, I had a really good friend. I had a really good friend ask me. He's like, you have an addictive personality, right?
Sure.
And so
probably do,
we had
yeah.
this conversation over the weekend. He's like, "Who checks you? Like, who checks you? Like,
You're checking yourself.
right? Well, and because I told him, and I used the wrong verbiage because he really made me think about a lot of things. Because today I state, I don't care what anybody thinks about me as long as I'm in alignment with what I believe is my higher power and what I believe is a set of principles.
That's changed over time.
Yes,
because we all go through that.
absolutely it's changed. It changes daily.
Yeah.
So so he's like, "Who checks you?" Meaning, and so I changed the words. Like, it's not that I don't care about what people think about me because that sounds really callous. And of course, you guys sitting here, I care what you think of me. I can't be concerned with what people think about me, right? I can't put an emotional investment into what others think of me because I did that for a really long time and it got me into some really bad places.
Right.
It got me to be a very unauthentic person where I was so worried about what everybody else thought about me and what their opinion of me was. And now I can't go down that route anymore. I just can't. I can't play that game.
But now it feels like you're on this insatiable quest to not be told what to do by anyone or anything. And this is why, because I was trying to think of this in a way I could ask you. And I look, I love you, and I don't, this is just from the outside looking in, right? You've removed yourself from all constraints of, like you mentioned earlier, you're divorced. You left this job.
Yep.
You left. I mean, you like try to remove yourself from every situation where you have to answer to anyone at all,
Except God.
Well, that's. I mean, but like.
That's who I answer to.
Okay, but I mean,
That's my only employer.
like.
God, that's my employer.
Right, but he doesn't have on payroll. There's not like a.
He didn't tell you to do this tax thing, did he?
Right. I'm talking about like something tangible,
one nation under what?
You don't you're this quest not to answer to anybody.
But
Like you don't want to answer to a wife. You don't want to answer to a boss.
You don't want to answer to your parents when you were a kid rebelling.
No. I'm serious.
seriously,
You
no,
don't want to answer to the government. You don't want anyone to tell you to pay taxes. You don't want anyone to tell you can't speed. You don't want anyone to tell you can't be home. You gotta be home at
I
midnight.
let them tell me don't commit crimes, and I don't commit crimes. I'm not going to go out and
But you
commit.
see, it's not just like it's all like you've removed yourself from any structure.
I guess
society.
but
And what about this is scratching your itch? What
because
is the thing inside
because I
you?
think there's lots of levels to it, but like on the surface level, what we're talking about is that I think we're all lied to heavily. We're heavily lied to.
Sure.
Like you're going to pay your house off at some point, but guess what? You're never going to own that house. The county's going to own that house. At any point in time, they can come up to you and say, "We deem you unfit. We're taking your house." For whatever reason, they deem you unfit.
I would just try to be fit.
Right, but they can just like they could like if your kids before they were adults, like
You could take your kids
they could
away
take your
if they
kid
count, yeah.
right. But if I'm a private American national, what I have is a trust, and nobody can like that. The house that I own the land deed on is in that trust. And look, if this wasn't available to do, then I wouldn't do it. But you can do this.
But is there any chance that you've been lied to by some of this stuff?
I think I've educated myself to a level, and there's enough evidence that I've found to answer your question. I've covered my bases, and no, I haven't been lied to because
There's no chance you're wrong about any of this stuff.
No, there's not.
No, there's got to be a little chance.
There's not unless if you want to play the 0.00000001.
Yeah.
I mean. But I've gone over my paperwork. I've made sure it's right. I've had the right people look at
What
it.
is the
You
best?
you think he's wrong about some of this
What's
stuff,
the
right?
best benefit that this is going to give you besides the peace of mind that no one can
I mean, that's what it's.
Take
I'm
something
I'm a free man.
Because you've also you don't have a right to
Once
vote
you-
anymore, or do you?
No, I don't. I can't
you don't have
vote
a right to
because
vote?
I'm not part of the U.S. government.
Okay, so and
don't
there are
vote.
like some. Can you legally own a firearm?
I can.
You can do that.
Yes.
Can you?
I have a passport. I have a
other-
5-star
there's
passport.
Other is just voting is the only thing you've given up.
Yeah,
Then?
pretty much. I mean, that's really. I mean, that's the, like. That's what.
Well, you can't run for office. Or
I
could
can't.
you?
No, I can't run for office.
run for office.
So what
Because
happens? You have to have your like for me. I have to have my personal property tax to get my driver's license or whatever. So
it
you don't have
wouldn't
to
be
do
because
that?
I would when I own property. Right now, the property I own is leased out to the county. Right, and so right now I'm paying property taxes on the land I own. But I'm in the process of moving that. Right, when I own land again, I have a Jacob Patrick Gutierrez trust set up. My car
All
is
caps, low caps.
low caps.
Okay.
I have both. I have a trust in both. I have a trust in both.
Cover your bases,
Right.
kids.
I have a private entity, a private trust, and I have a public trust.
All right.
Right. And the public trust is how I make commerce. That's my Social Security account. That's That's my public entity.
Okay.
That's when I decide to play the Monopoly game. I take that public entity and I say, hey, I'm public. Here's the public thing. The only thing is that you guys don't get to take it on and off. You guys are the trustees. I'm the beneficiary of that
think
trust.
it's okay for people who don't mind staying in the game?
No, I don't. Like, and I said this last week. Like, this is not for everybody. This is actually not for most people.
but
This
like
seems somewhat isolating.
You say you were
How? I'm sitting here with you
but like,
guys.
You say you're a free man now. Why weren't you free 2 years ago?
Well, not if the government said, Jake, you need to take a vaccine, and we're mandating it for every U.S. citizen. Then no, I'm not free.
But they
I'm
didn't
not.
do that.
They didn't. But how do I know what the future is going to hold? All I'm doing is securing my future.
Okay.
And saying that I'm going.
What's the biggest fear that they would make you do something? Was it health care? Was it 'cause
Healthcare?
I've read plenty
also,
of people about this stuff.
look at what they did in Australia. Look at what they did in China. They locked people fucking up. They locked them up.
Well, that's
for
why,
not getting the vaccine.
That's why I still think like America.
It is.
better.
It
Than
is
that.
great. America is great. But how do I know what America looks like in 40 years? How do I know what it looks like in 40 years?
Well, I gotcha. Yeah.
I don't know what it looks like in 40 years. It could look like China. It could look like Australia. I don't fucking know that. But I know that I am a private American national, and I'll never be a part of that game. They're going to have to leave me the fuck alone because they have no jurisdiction over me.
Yeah, like you couldn't pull this shit in Iraq or Iran or fucking
But it's not set up. It was never. See, that's why America's great. It was set up as a republic, and that republic still stands. And that's what I'm a part of. I'm a part of what our founding fathers. Right now, you guys don't have constitutional rights. The Constitution is suspended right now.
When did that happen?
It happened when they went into emergency for COVID-19. We are right now in a state of emergency. They suspend the Bill of Rights and they suspend the Constitution. So, constitutionally, when you get arrested for speeding, you're supposed to have a court in 100 days. You're supposed to be in front of a judge in 100 days. That's your constitutional right. But guess what? COVID-19 is going
the
on.
Constitution doesn't say that. It says speedy trial. You just arbitrarily made up 100 days.
No, that's what speedy trial. Speedy trial is 100 days. I'm telling you, because each state in Kansas, speedy trial means 100 days. They've designated that.
I'll disagree that I don't think the Constitution's suspended.
Oh, okay. It's suspended at wartime. It's suspended at time of emergency. And COVID-19, they put us into a state of emergency.
Okay, how is this
But we still
affecting me?
have constitutional rights.
Right, like,
No, you don't. You have governmental rights.
No,
you have the rights that the government
Now
gives
it's
you.
semantics.
No, it's not semantics.
It is semantics.
It's not because I'm not subject to those government. That government doesn't give me my rights.
okay,
the
so
Constitution does.
How's my life different now than it was in 2018? I'm talking about like inflation or whatever. I'm talking about like what can I not do that I could do 4 years ago? Like,
Well, the reality is that we have a wartime flag that go look up our flags. Duck, go what our flags are.
but that's not my question. I'm like I feel like I can leave this
The Constitution,
and do whatever the fuck I want.
The Constitution has been suspended since we went to World War I and we had a wartime flag. That's why the history blows my mind, and they don't teach this.
But how
in
does that
schools.
affect us right now?
It affects you is that there's a 10-mile by 10-mile square called the U.S. government. That's where your rights come from. They dictate your rights to you.
But how does that change the way I live my life right now?
It probably
my point.
doesn't. It probably doesn't.
Like, what can you go do that I can't do? So you're saying you're a free man and I'm not. Like, what the fuck can you do that I can't
Everything
do?
that the U.S. government laws you against doing, I can go do. Whatever law they wrote whatever city ordinance violation that you would.
Give me an example of this.
I mean, the speeding is the easiest one. I mean,
but I don't want to speed.
I don't either, and I don't. What I'm saying is I'm protecting myself. That's all I'm doing. I'm protecting myself.
I know, but when you say you're a free man, you're suggesting we're not.
This could be fake. I did because I didn't Google it. It says this is the Attorney General that the Constitution isn't suspended. Is he lying?
I know that right now that the Constitution is suspended right now. Because I know people that...
Bill Barr's not this was when the COVID started. Bill Barr, who was the Attorney General at the time, said, no, the Constitution is not suspended.
Well, if we're in a state of emergency like we are because of COVID-19, then it's suspended. Google what regulates suspending the Constitution.
So should I just Google, is the Constitution
No, because that phone's going to tell you what they want you to know. I mean, that's the reality. You have to, that's the reality. Like, you have to get books. You have to read law books. Like, you have to know your rights. That's what I'm saying. Is that,
so if the Constitution is suspended, the Constitution, we don't have a president then? Because the Constitution defines the president.
I don't have you're getting me to an uncomfortable place, right? That I don't have.
That's why I think this is semantics.
That's fine. But I will tell you that if tomorrow the government says you have to shave your head, it's a law. Well, you guys don't have a problem. Right. If you can't have facial hair and they make it a law, you're not allowed to have facial hair.
But that's ridiculous.
It is.
If the Constitution is suspended right now, they can't make that law.
I don't know. Okay, what I don't need to convince you anything. Like this.
No, I don't.
But I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to understand.
I'm trying to explain it, but you keep questioning the fact that I'm telling you that your rights are given to you by a U.S. government. That's where your rights come from.
I suppose that's probably.
That's where your rights come from.
I mean, what country you live in or wherever you, that's.
But see, my rights don't. My rights come from the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. That's where my rights come. I'm under the jurisdiction of those, under a Circuit 3 judge. But
I think we're all under those.
No, you're not. If the government decides to change something in that, right?
What if the Circuit 3 judge changes something?
They changed the Constitution. Like, you're telling me that in the Constitution it says you can't go past 45 miles an hour?
No, it doesn't say anything because no one had a car back then.
Well, but also it's like they didn't have all these laws.
Yeah, there were no laws back then. There's all the Constitution does is basically sets up a basic framework for government.
Well, I have the right to take that back, and I don't want to be a part of this U.S. government that was set up, right, for a different reason than what it's running as now, right? We've given all the power to that government.
And see, I'm not trying to debate this. I'm trying to understand it.
Sure.
What the differences are. And the only difference that I can pull away, like the reasonable difference. Yes, if the fucking shaving the beard thing,
okay. Say they make you get a vaccine. And they say you have to get a vaccine as a citizen of the United States of America.
I would do it willingly.
That's fine, but what if you're me and you don't want it because you haven't been sick in 8 years?
That's a whole nother story.
But what I'm saying is that I would have to do that if I was a U.S. citizen. Because
I think you could take this back to basically. Let's take it back to like the Vietnam War and drafts. I mean,
that's fine.
They said you wanted, and some people were like, "No, I don't want to go fight in
right."
the war.
But you're a U.S. citizen, so you're going to go fight in this war.
Right. Or
you're going to go to jail.
Yeah,
but those are your two options.
But let's take it back to that time. That's what you're talking about. And I don't think we've really had many things, if anything, like that since the draft has been gone.
So to try to simplify it, I'm just trying to make it applicable to people that are listening. The only thing that I see that you don't do, that I would not like to do, but I do anyway, is pay taxes. And so the only difference is you say you don't have to pay taxes.
Correct.
I feel like I can do everything that you do, and I feel like I'm free like you are. There's nothing that I'm being stopped from doing.
Right. You're just under the jurisdiction of the U.S. government.
And why
you shouldn't do this.
Why shouldn't I be fine with that? Is I guess my point.
What benefits have you? You say you take the monopoly piece on and off, but like if you're a private U.S. citizen, let's say you have a house. Do they come put your fire out, or do you not do that? Is that part of the social contract we have, or what happens there?
I mean, it's a public service that I don't know where that probably comes out of some sales taxes that I pay. So
if you need help, will you call the police?
That probably comes more out of property taxes and funding the police.
But the thing is that none of us know where our tax money goes. Truly.
Some of it they do. I mean, we don't really know. But
Right, right, that's
I
what I
know,
mean.
like, at least in Jackson County, Missouri, when you get a personal property tax at the end of the year, that you have
shows
to pay for
everything.
your cars and stuff. It says this goes to the library fund and this goes to this and this goes to that. So if you're not paying those things, they're not going to stop you from going to the library and getting a book, right? Because they don't know.
And I don't know
Probably
this.
not. I mean, probably not. I mean,
And the firefighter doesn't really know
Right.
that
right.
unless you post something.
that
says,
I
don't-
own the land deed to this
Yeah,
house.
but if
I don't
you-
want you to help me put this
Right.
fire out.
If you
So
need
what
help-
have you given up?
Right, will you call the police if you need help?
I mean, I probably would. I mean, the sheriff works for the people. The sheriff's
Okay,
department.
that's I don't understand like how far this could like would you
It is a little bit like having your cake and eating it too.
Well,
You
why-
want the police
if
to
you're-
help
if,
you.
If you're allowed to, why wouldn't you?
I got you. I got
If
you.
you're allowed to, why wouldn't you?
But you will drive on the roads that are paid for.
I know I will never drive on any roads.
Well, you'll travel.
Yes, I'll
on,
travel on the roads. Absolutely,
road.
I'll
This is
travel.
more semantics.
I'm a traveler. But like you say, it's semantics, but it's a language.
Man, what the fuck did you just say?
He's
You just
not
said
driving.
will you drive? What,
I
what-
said travel. I'm a
travel.
traveler. No one can impede my right to travel across this country.
You're
According to
driving your car.
No, I'm traveling. I'm operating a vehicle and I'm traveling through this country. That's why I'm like, know your constitutional
But
rights.
why can't you say drive?
Because I don't drive. Because if I'm driving, then I'm speeding. Because I'm driving. I'm traveling. I'm traveling through this land, which I have a constitutional right to travel through. And no one can impede my right to travel if I'm not committing a crime.
No one's trying to impede your to drive.
If I don't stop all the way at the stop sign, they're going to impede. They're going to impede me.
But you personally are trying your best to
I-
follow the rules of travel.
Why wouldn't I?
Okay.
It's safe.
There are people out there who I think intentionally
See-
try to get in trouble
see-
so they can get their fee structure probably.
Probably. Some probably do. I'm not, but that's not me.
That's like someone who might slip and
There's
fall.
also
at a-
people,
at a-
there's probably also
yeah.
people that are U.S. citizens that don't pay their taxes.
Oh, plenty.
Right. So I'm just saying, it's like all I'm responsible is this entity that's sitting in front of you, right? And I try to be the best version of me that I can for everybody's well-being. I try to help people. If I saw somebody in danger on the side of the road, I would stop and help. Like it's not like I'm not. I mean, I am participating in humanity.
It's because this is so. Here we go. So this is the dichotomy here. It appears that like you're in touch with humanity, you're in touch with your relationship with God. You know, no alcohol, no drugs. You live a different life now, right?
I call it I live a principled life. Yeah.
Yet, but then you sound very angry about the Constitution and the government and all these things. It sounds like sounds like I'm talking to two different people. It really does.
I get it. But look, we're sold falsehoods from the time that we were like I didn't agree to get associated. My parents put me into that system, but that system was also created not intended to be used the way it's being used right now.
I feel like I've asked this several different ways. I'm gonna do this again. What made you make all these changes? Was it just simply I don't want to pay taxes anymore? What's the tangible benefit for doing all this shit?
The mental clarity that I know that if I'm doing my best to be my best, not harming anybody or anything, then nobody has any power over me.
Because I don't accept like
I think it's a lot like the Kangen water.
Right,
If
but
you're
I-
not hurting anyone. Go ahead, do your deal.
but
You're happy with the water.
But like I don't accept
Whatever.
you saying like, well, I did this just in case they say that everyone has to shave their beard. They're not going to fucking do that. And so, that's
more about your health.
Some
Is it
bizarre
you're
thing.
talking about your body.
You're
Yeah,
talking
I'm
your
just talking
mental
about
clarity or whatever.
My
you're doing this.
well-being. My well-being.
But this goes back to me. I feel like you've made many changes in your life that at the very root of it is I don't want someone to fucking tell me what to do. Whether it's the government, whether it's a partner, whether it's a boss, whether it's a coworker.
I can't tell you what goes on in my subconscious.
But doesn't it seem like that's you?
If you want to sift through this and your interpretation of my actions is that okay, I'll buy your interpretation of that. I don't purposely say I don't want anybody fucking telling me what to
But
do.
does it seem like there's a pattern there
Oh,
if
you
we lay
used
it
to
out?
probably.
I probably used to, but no, I mean, so I look, today I believe that if somebody has some constructive criticism and they bring it to me, I'm going to examine and discern through that and see if there's anything I can learn from
I
it.
have another theory. Now this gets deep, and I'm not. I could turn off and on the fucking satire, and this is serious. Okay.
Sounds like a joke's coming.
No, it's not because this is This has to do with how I dealt or haven't dealt with the loss of my mother, and how I've left a lot of that shit with no resolution, and how it very much fucked me up and fucked up my life because I decided to not face it and not deal with the guilt that I had of what I now believe that I could have done more when she was alive to keep her alive longer and do more for her and her health. And so I manipulated my own mind in any way I could just to be able to cope with the guilt after she passed away, right? Lied to myself. I've almost created I'm getting too deep into that. Maybe that's making sense. Hopefully it is.
But I mean, you're acknowledging it today,
right?
So I mean, it's like the error would be not acknowledging it.
But I guess I went through the approach was, it doesn't matter how I get through this. I just got to get through it, and I got to lie to myself or do whatever I got to do. Whether it's I got to drink this fucking bottle of whiskey today, or I got to do that, or I got to fucking disappear for a day. I got to get through this, however it is. I got to get to the finish line. And I'm never through it. I just lie to myself. You think. So the point is this sometimes a way for you to deal, because you had such a traumatic experience losing your mom and your dad, and I feel like sometimes you were unable to deal with that.
Oh yeah, I dealt with it through drinking and
guilt
drugs.
And everything else. But all these things and all this journey all goes back to how can you cope with the guilt, and how can you be at peace with the way you lost your parents? Because there's no answer. We all why. I think why? How unfair was it for Jake to lose both of his parents to cancer at that time? It's not fair, And that's why I think with my uncle with ALS, or I think about my mom, passing away before she could meet her granddaughters. All these different things, and so we all do these things to try to cope and to try to make sense of it when there is no sense to be made of it. How much of it is that just the tragedy that you went through, just to try to somehow make it make sense in your head so you could move on or go on or live?
I could honestly sit here and tell you it has zero to do with that. Has zero. Because today I'm okay with my parents not being here. I've done a lot of work.
But you weren't for a long time.
Right, no.
I'm just talking about the journey, all the stuff that happened to you. Maybe you didn't understand. I'm not saying the stuff you're doing now. All the stuff that you did to yourself,
but
was coping mechanisms for the guilt you felt.
Oh, lots of that was coping. I mean, tons of it, to the point where it almost killed me through eating, through drinking and drugging. But I also understand that had to happen. Today, I think I have a lot of joy in my heart. I think I'm a pleasant person to be around for the most part. I think that I try to help others. I try to be on a daily basis the son that my parents raised to be. Today, I know that if my parents were able to look down upon me, which I know they do, that they would be really damn proud. That's my boy. They'd be really proud of the man I am today. I know that. But
this whole thing, I feel started because of that, because it sent you into a spiral.
Right.
But then you've come out of it.
But also, I if we play a game, which I don't like to play, the what if game, my parents sacrificed themselves to create this version of me. Especially with my father. Today, my father didn't die in vain because he was an alcoholic. And I saw him die an alcoholic death. I mean, yeah, he died of cancer, but I also saw him, 2 months prior to being in the hospital, drinking the same day he had chemotherapy. I saw him detox in the hospital, when he couldn't leave for 4 weeks.
Couldn't get out to Gitney, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I saw that all with my own 2 eyes. And so on some level, I don't think he consciously knew it. And the moment when we're sitting in the hospital every day for the last 4 weeks of his life, I don't think he consciously knew it. I'm dying this way so my son can have a healthy, sober life.
And see, this is unhealthy, but this is the way I've tried to make sense and cope with my mom's passing, because at the time that she passed away, we were done having kids. And then after she passed away, I became obsessed with, Susan, we're going to have a daughter so we can name her after my mother. and I want to have a daughter. I want to have, I want there to be a Julia St. John in my life, and just to pay, and I think I always wanted to have a daughter, but we were just like, okay, we're probably done having kids, and then we tried a couple of times, and then we lost a baby. Oh boy, it's like 4.5 months. We tried and we tried, and I thought, you know what, it's just not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But then it happened, right? And I can't. Those two, and I love my boys, but those two little girls were the biggest blessings in my life, and we would not have tried so hard to have them if my mom, and that sounds like a bullshit way to try to justify.
Don't even speak those words, because it's not bullshit.
Like, do we see? I feel guilty for even thinking that.
That's stupid.
You know what I mean?
I think, in my opinion, I think that's stupid, because I think it's exactly right. I think by you trying to talk yourself out of it, you're discrediting the truth.
But it sounds like I'm trying to talk myself into it.
No, but it's the truth. It's the truth that I see. Like, it's the truth. Like, if my parents were both still here, would I just be a really highly functional alcoholic? Maybe it took both my parents leaving planet Earth for me to really fucking see what my alcoholism looks like. Opposed to...
So you wouldn't be where you are now, in your opinion, if that hadn't happened the way it happened.
Absolutely not.
Right, so it did affect everything to this point.
Yeah, so I get where you're going with that now, but you made me recognize what you were saying through... I think that's absolutely fact that your mom wanted you to have two daughters, and the only way that was going to happen was for her to leave.
But to me, when I feel like I'm just trying to justify, so I won't feel guilty about it.
Here's
what I mean?
Stop trying to talk yourself out of it.
Right. Well,
like all you have to know is your truth, and that's all you have to know. And so that's like my truth. Like, my parents aren't here, and I wouldn't want them to be here today, because I wouldn't be me if they were here.
And I think you can agree, right? We care about Jake, right? Mm-hmm. And we love the fact that you don't drink anymore. We love the fact that the drugs and the overeating, all that shit's gone, right? But then we also worry, not because we want to fight with you or argue about it, but we also worry that there's a part...
I don't want you to check out of society.
That seems self-destructive and isolating, and that you're going to end up in a fucking cabin.
No, I'm always like, that's what the thing is. Like, I'm not going to be a sovereign citizen like David Koresh. Okay. Like those.
What's your fear? You fucking say that. What is your fear with him?
I mean, I don't want you to go and just not be a part of society.
Well, why would I do that?
Well, I don't know. Why did you? Because
you kind of
eat
did
a 78-ounce steak in 2 minutes? I don't know. Why did you bet $2,000 on a soccer game? Why did you? I mean,
what soccer game was that? No. What soccer game was that?
It was the Champions League final in 2015, 14.
What the fuck
not
is
12.
wrong with you? Who was in it?
It was Chelsea and it was Bayern Munich. I was at my bachelor party in 2012, May of 2012, and I had been gambling all night, and my buddy was going. Like,
I've been drinking.
I've been drinking. I didn't sleep for 3 days, like literally. And you can do your own math.
This was the Vegas bachelor party.
Yes. So
this wasn't the one on the bus.
I'm sitting at the tables. My buddies had just woke up because I literally did not sleep for 3 days. And my buddy's like, "I'm going to hit the book. Do you need me to put any bets in for you?" And I said, "Yeah, I want you to bet $2,000 on Bayern Munich, right, to win straight up over Chelsea." And he's like, okay, and took the money, and he saw the state I was in. And so he came back with my ticket, and he said, I only put $1,000 down. I couldn't do it. And I got pissed off at him, and I went back to the window and put that $1,000 back up. So we're sitting at the cabana, and Bayern Munich was winning this game almost the whole game. And then in the 90th minute, Didier Drogba scored a header on a corner to tie the game up. The game goes to extra time, and Bayern Munich loses in a shootout.
So my point is, I don't know what you're going to do. Right. I think you're a much more steady person now. But as far as like knowing what to expect from someone, you've been a graph like this.
Absolutely, I
all
agree
the time
with that.
I've known
So you do seem like you have two approaches when we talk about one thing. You're very calm and spiritual, but then the other one, it seems like the fucking fangs come out.
I don't want you to be mad at the shadow government.
And I guess
the government
sounds like you're mad. That's there.
I guess angry is like I truly am. I'm just passionate about it because it was something that I like. The more I dug into, the more I was like, I can't believe this exists. I can't believe, like, and so it's like, like how much faith in me do you guys have? That's the question.
Well, I
Like,
think
today,
to get to where you are from where you were, I have a lot of faith in you.
right? And so, like, we were in a situation where it's like people were trying to tell me, like, hey, you need to do this. This is good for you. And I'm like, I took offense to that because it's like, okay, I get why you're saying this. I get why you're doing this. But I felt so discredited and insulted because it's like, motherfucker, look at me. Like, do you not think that I know what's best for me? Like, I've stared death in the face multiple times. Not once, not twice, multiple times. Looked at fucking death saying, hey, Jake, you're going to die, buddy. You're 32 years old. You weigh 374 pounds. You're going to have a heart attack before 40. That's a fucking hard reality to look at. I was fucking drunk for 20 years. I had pre-cirrhosis of my liver and developing spots in my liver. I had to look in that mirror and death said, hey, keep drinking. You're going to fucking die just like your dad did, just like your uncle did at 43, just like your grandpa did. Like death, like most people don't have to be persuaded to that level. But I did.
Took you a few wake-up calls.
Yeah, it did. But it's like so within that structure of those, you know, I call them being defeated, right? That I have turned those defeats into my greatest assets. And so, like, I get people being concerned for me at times, and I appreciate it. Like, I truly do. But it's like those same people were concerned with me at different levels. And it's like, you couldn't get to me that way. Like, nobody could tell me, hey, you need to stop drinking. Like, a lot of people
get there yourself.
A lot of people, right? And so it's like, when are you people who are telling me what to do? When are you going to learn? Like, and not in a dickhead way, but it's like, I appreciate it. I'm going to take.
I just don't want you to learn a lesson on any of these things the hard way.
Right. Because we do have faith in you.
Right.
But
fucking with the government's a big deal.
No, but
I'm not fucking with them. I'm allies. I'm on their team.
It doesn't sound like.
But I'm on their team.
I don't think they think you're on their team.
I'm not sure everyone has the message.
But
No,
listen.
So that's the
you
thing.
are okay.
They
We
do.
have faith in you, but of all people that I know in my life, you are the most stubborn, probably. You are incredibly fucking stubborn.
Don't tell me I don't need to drink.
And to get you to admit you're wrong about anything takes more sometimes to even. I have proof.
I'll tell you this.
No. It is to get him to admit he's wrong. It's sometimes a Herculean task.
He is
even if he's wrong.
Tremendous steps.
I understand that
because just a few months ago he came into my office and he told me, "Hey, FYI, I don't think Paul McCartney's dead." He told me that.
But would you agree?
After arguing that he was dead?
Because now that you put yourself on the line, I feel like if you did discover, like, oh, I was wrong about this, you ain't fucking admitting it.
Well,
you're not going to tell us that because you.
I mentioned something. You, Nate, and I were standing in the hall earlier, right? We're discussing something, something that's going on in this building, and I readily admitted, "Hey, I like, good dude. I'm happy for that dude."
Sure.
Before I was like, "Fuck that guy, douchebag, whatever."
And here's the thing. He's saying this. That could be any number of 15 or 20 people here. Right? But you would agree you're incredibly stubborn, which can be a good trait in some ways.
I'll be honest, like you say that to me and it makes my heart smile. You want me to tell you why? Because that is fucking my mom. That is my mom. Like I got that. That's the best compliment because that's the Debbie in me.
Well, that's the switch flips too, because like. You were stubborn. You're drinking. I mean, you can get physically addicted to drinking and all this stuff. But people tell you don't drink. You're stubborn. But then you have to be stubborn to not drink too. To say no.
Right. That's why
you have to go the other way.
Here,
like I feel like I can show you proof that you're wrong about something, and you'll just look and say nope.
That's
right.
No, so
like you Googled that, and he said no.
We've talked about my mediumship before, right?
Yes.
Right. So I had an experience where my father spoke to me. Had a conversation with Bob. There's been several conversations I've had with Bob, like literal, like conversations.
Right.
And this happened probably in about 2017. right? And I was fluctuating. I was in some difficult situations. That's kind of where I truly found my own personal integrity and my own. I got right with myself and my authentic self, and it's how the book opens up. So go read the book, and you find out why.
We can't read the book because it doesn't fucking
Okay,
exist
so
yet.
my mom and I would like to the point where my brothers were both really good kids because they saw me and they're like, holy fuck. Like I truly believe it traumatized my little brother on a level. Like, because he would see what my mom and I would do. Right. And my dad, he was like we said, simple guy. But until the only thing that I ever did that made him more like, disrespect my mom. Like, that's the line. Like, I could do anything I wanted, but as soon as I crossed that line, it's like fucking Bob's like angry, Big Bear Bob. Like, fuck. Like, punch holes in the wall. Like
Yes.
I will strangle you, son. You're disrespecting my wife. So it's like we would have these drag out fights where I wouldn't come home at curfew or something. My mom's like, well, you're not going out next week. And I'd be like, how are you going to stop me? You couldn't get me to come in.
Private U.S. citizen.
Right? How can you stop me?
Rules.
If I want to go out next weekend, I'm going to fucking go out. You couldn't get me to come home for curfew this weekend. And she's like, okay. It's like that scene in fucking Breakfast Club. That's exactly what my mom and I
got
were.
you, Bender.
Right.
2 months.
Right. And so my dad would sit there because my dad was not a confrontational person. And he would be like, Jesus Christ, like seeing somebody just fucking stabbing themselves, like inflicting pain. And
what are you doing?
And so like,
give it up.
He would
Jake.
stand there for the conversation and she would just walk away. And I would always have to get the last word and she would holler. And so we'd be sitting there and he would like, his jaw would be on the ground and he'd be like, what in the fuck is wrong with you? He's like, you just keep going.
Yeah.
Christ, man. So I'm on this run, right? And I have this conversation with my dad where he's like, you just keep going. So be fucking ultra attentive to which way you're pointed. Mm-hmm. Because if you're pointed towards negativity, you're going all the way to look at death. And then on the opposite end, if I'm pointed to positivity, do you know the amount of good that I'm going to be able to do? Like, if I'm pointed towards a positive direction, what I have, it's like there's two, like, and that's my personality. It's like, it's like, but I got to be uber aware of which way I'm pointed, what direction I'm going.
What you're fucking saying is like, okay, with me and Richie, all right? Richie is, I cannot tell you enough great things about the man he's become. He's talented. His work ethic is unparalleled. He's such a good man. He's good to people, and he
is a good boy.
Like I had a mom come up to me at one of his shows and say, "Hey, I want to let you know, unsolicited. I'd never met her before. Your son taught my daughter at School of Rock for 3 years. I want you to say how compassionate he is.
One of the kindest people I've met. Seriously,
and that's seriously. And, you know, when someone tells you something about your son like that, I'm sure
now you're going to drop a big butt here on Richie, aren't you?
But growing up, this kid, and I realized later on, it was me. The Spider-Man pointing at each other.
Yes.
Fucking looking in the mirror.
Right.
Because he would not give in, and I would not give in. And we'd have these fucking horrible fights. These knockdowns. And he would challenge me and get in my face. I'd look at Susan, I'd go, what the fuck is going on? You motherfucker. And I took his phone one time and just threw it against the wall and fucking smashed it. And we get into it.
Yeah.
And that's the way me and my dad were kind of when I was a kid. And I just never knew when to shut up. I couldn't. I had to have the last word,
right?
And that's the way he was. And because and I always kid him about it. He was born in Northeast and lived his first couple years in Northeast, so he was the last St. John out of Northeast, so he's got that Northeast in him. But the more he got older, I realized it was just because he's a mirror image of me, physically and mentally, and we just wouldn't. We're both alphas, and we just wouldn't give an inch. But that's why he's so. He's been. I feel like he's been 30 years old since he was 12. He's so mature. Right. He's been able to handle everything. And so many times
poised.
We'd get in an argument, and he'd be right. And he's this kid that's smarter than me, and he's right about it. And I know he's like, motherfucker, who do you think you are fucking talking back to me like that? Because he's right about this, and that's just making me mad, right?
It's a poised dude.
But like what you were saying, all the time, there's Phil up in the fucking room around the corner watching this shit. And he's like, I don't want none
I want
of this.
nothing.
I don't
Yeah,
want
that's what
nothing
my
to
little
do with
brother
this
was
fucking
fucking
shit.
shaped by your environment,
And then Phil comes up, and this fucking kid hasn't had a B since his fucking sophomore year.
Just like Dad.
And no. Richie
No,
and me.
I was saying you C's and D's.
Right, no, I know. Well, fucking, if I had got a fucking C, I was thrilled.
Yeah.
I got terrible grades. I had a fucking super high ACT. So did Richie. Got terrible grades because we just didn't fucking turn in homework.
Yeah.
We didn't care.
Don't tell me to turn in
He wanted to
homework,
play the
man.
fucking guitar. I wanted to be in front of the microphone.
There you go.
But Phil, it was so funny. He said that he
Yeah.
saw this stuff.
Yeah.
And not that he's a better kid than Richie, or Richie's a
different.
better kid than him. They're so different.
Yeah.
But they're also the same. But Phil saw that and said, I'm going to opt out.
Yeah. So my brother's like, no thanks.
Take my
Of these
piece off the
arguments.
board.
Yeah, like
I'm gonna do my homework and I'm not gonna
I
talk
think
back
my
very
brother
much.
would like go into his room and close the door, like, oh God, like he wanted nothing. Like he did not. If they told him to jump, he'd be like, okay, how high you want me to
and
jump?
this is the truth. This is crazy to say this. Phil's 19. The next time I hear him cuss will be the first time.
Damn.
He don't even. He's just.
Let's get his ass in here on hot night.
Right. No, I'll get him. But it's fucking crazy. Richie really doesn't either. I cuss like a sailor.
But also,
my
like-
daughter's the other hand.
Like my mom, I think my mom at a young age saw like, and I was, and I be careful I say this, but I don't know if my brothers would contest this or not. I was a complete mama's boy,
Oh, so was I.
Both my brothers were closer to my dad growing up. But I think my mom gave me more attention than them because I think she saw me as
Sounds like you might have needed it.
right. I need it, but also like I think she saw my mental state and where it was headed, and she saw this kid's fucked. This kid is literally fucked. He has my stubbornness and temper, and he's got his father's alcoholism in him.
Yeah.
And I think she saw that at a young age, and so I think she was like. I think she felt guilty to a level. Like, I think she was like, I got to not let this kid, like, you know what I mean? So it's like, she instilled all the right principles in how to act and like, this is what a good man does. And like, you shouldn't be doing this. And I never fucking listened to her at all when she was here. Right. But the point being is that she put those principles and those ideas and those ways of being inside me. So today I can still draw on those. Like she raised this man. She just didn't get to see it when she was here. But like she raised me to be the man that I'm going to be today. And so it's like I get to do that today. Like I get to wake up and I get to go participate in life in the way that I know my mom wanted me to be. Like that's like what fucking awesome purpose. Like I couldn't ask for a higher purpose in living my life. Like
Well, that's the whole point. You got to get it right sometime. If it doesn't work right at the beginning, you just got to keep working
But
to
the
get
thing
better
is
and
that
get to where you need to be.
I see people in my life that they like. I'm so fortunate. By the grace of God, there go I, because I see people who don't get that opportunity.
That's right.
I see people that get so uncomfortable that they have to take the exit. Right.
Yeah.
I see people who in that exit, whether it be using drugs, like. Like I see it every day. It's a reminder to me. It's like I don't understand it. But the thing is, I don't have to understand like why do I get this and that person doesn't. It's not fair.
You fought through it.
Well, I guess, but
You have to credit yourself for that too. Now your parents made you and all that stuff, but you couldn't have got to where you are now without flipping that switch from being self-destructive to being productive.
Right, but the thing is that like death stared me. Death was the persuader, and the death is the persuader for those people, and they just that's not enough.
You
like,
have to be able to find something inside you to do that. Now, my only thing, and we've been going too long. We're probably going to wrap this up soon.
We are.
What with just me and you as friends for all these years, I just want you to always be safe.
Right.
I'll make an honest promise. I'll always wake up every day and do my best to be safe.
And some battles are worth fighting.
Absolutely.
And I want you to pay your
sometimes
taxes.
I don't
paying
want
them.
I just
I pay them when I
and maybe
buy
this
stuff.
is just the part where we're the little being and there is a big overseeing government or whatever. Some things are tough to fight. And sometimes
I'm not fighting it.
I know, but
I'm not.
It could be a fight someday.
I'm not fighting it. I'm not fighting it. I'm
always think of.
I'm on their side. I'm an American. I'm on their side.
You know,
I'm on their side.
You know,
I'm just not under their
And
jurisdiction.
to wrap up my side of it, like I'll talk to Richie. I'll call Richie sometimes 'cause I'll think about stuff, or I'll go for a walk and reflect, and I'll call. I say, I just want to tell you, I'm sorry that I was so strict. I was so sorry that I was so hard on you at times. I was so demanding, and I was.
But now you're being hard on yourself.
But then he, as usual, smarter than me, and more mature than me will say, well, and it's kind of funny because it's it's a pat on his back. He goes, well, look at the finished product. It's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. And Phil was a different route, and I couldn't be more prouder of Richie and of Phil. But I'm still like, I made a lot of fucking mistakes. But listening to that that resonates with me, your brothers and everything else.
My father used to say something he's like, and I don't know if I completely understood it until today, but he's like, this isn't an equal household. It's not equal. Like, I'm not going to treat you boys equally, but it will always be even. It will always be even.
Oh, that makes perfect sense.
You get what you deserve.
Right. Like, he's like,
treat people some way.
Because I would say, that's fucking not fair. And he'd be like, life's not fair. And I'd hear that a lot. And he'd be like, you know what? Yeah, I'm not going to treat you guys the same. It's not going to happen. But you guys will always be even. It won't always be equal, but it will always be even.
Oh, the fucking girls every time. Oh, I know Richie's your favorite. Oh, I know Phil's your favorite. Oh, I know Julia's your favorite. Oh, Selena's your favorite. So I'm doing a pretty good job. Everyone's accused of being my favorite.
Yeah,
they're all my favorites.
Damn right.
And so
You never should have picked her up from camp.
You know what though? I needed to go get her more for me.
Maybe betting.
Here's the deal, and I even
Grow
told
next
Susan
year.
that.
She'd grow
And
next
and Susan's like, she goes, just leave her up there. I said, you know what? There's going to be a time when she does not want me to come pick her up, when she wants to be left alone, and she doesn't want me. Now is not that time, and I will fucking walk to Atchison to go get her.
Because that's you're right. Because here's the deal. It's like I have a buddy. He had a son in high school, and he was playing on varsity. And he's like a sophomore, but he was a good basketball player, and he forgot his fucking basketball shoes at home, right? And he's like, Dad, I need you to bring my shoes. Like I'm fucked. If I don't have my basketball shoes, I'm fucked.
Right.
And we had this conversation, and he's like, I think his wife wanted to be like, no, he's gonna have to learn a tough lesson. Mm-hmm. And he's like, what lesson am I actually teaching him? That when he really fucking needs me, that I'm not there for him.
It's the same thing. Because I said, I promised her. I said, if you don't like this, I promise you, you can call me. I'll come and get you.
You never should have said that.
I know, right? I fucked up.
But he's like, there's a time to teach him that he shouldn't forget his shoes. It's not him missing the varsity fucking basketball game his sophomore year. Like, I'm not gonna fucking do that to him. He's calling me. He fucked up. He made a mistake. I'm not going to punish him. And what's that going to teach him? Next time he's in a really bad spot, he's not going to call me?
Because I always want my sons and daughters
the lesson
to call
is
me.
Don't forget the shit.
Right. And so he's like, it's the first time he did it.
The question is, did the kid have time to travel home to get him?
Well, I mean, I don't think he was sophomore. I don't think
travel and drive. I was
think he's driving.
I'm sorry.
But the point is, like, my buddy said to me, he's like, if it was the sixth time he forgot his shoes, well, then maybe it's the time to teach him a lesson. But this is the first time the kid fucking forgot his shoes, and he's worked his ass off to start varsity, and this was he was going to start, and it's like, I'm not going to fucking teach him that lesson. He doesn't need a lesson.
I've worn those shoes to school that day.
But it's like the lesson I'd be teaching him is that he can't depend on his father at 15 years old. Like that, what kind of fucking lesson is that? And I get it. Tough love is one thing, but it's like, it's not a habitual thing.
If you need to walk, because I'm going to wrap this up with 5 minutes of the fucking Elvis movie.
Oh,
I'm not going to get a chance
seen it yet.
You haven't seen it? Is that okay? Because we don't fucking.
You guys
we saw it.
Yeah, we saw
you
it.
Want to hear this?
I'll walk out.
You walk out.
I'm walking out.
Because or do you want me to do cut this off? Do you want me to do one on Friday for next week when I'm gone? Okay, fuck it.
You guys do Elvis.
Edit this, okay?
Elvis.
Now, so this wraps up with this, okay? We saw the Elvis premiere last night. Okay, it was 2 hours and 37 minutes, and I'm not to be trusted with this because I was going to love it anyway.
You're a fanatic.
The only thing that I will tell you,
you're more than a fanatic.
When any time that there's someone that portrays Elvis, I'll fucking just break him down and rip him to pieces. He didn't do this, he didn't do that.
Sounds like Lisa Marie.
Austin Butler was fucking phenomenal.
I don't think I'd ever seen him act in something before.
Was phenomenal, and I take every time, like we've gone to the movie theaters to go see the 68 Comeback Special. We've seen the documentary That's the Way It Is. I've watched Aloha from Hawaii fucking 30 times, 40 more than that. I memorized every movement, every step, so I could do the lip sync performance at the talent show at St. Pius when I was my junior year. I memorized the dialogue between Elvis and his fans in between fucking songs. It's sick. Okay, I used to write fucking book reports about Elvis all the time when I was a kid, and John F. Kennedy, whatever.
I think you were kind of pointed that way.
Right. Well, my mother was.
Right.
We were in Memphis a year after Elvis died at Graceland for the candlelight vigil. Anyway, I'm watching this thing, and I thought he was really good as 50s Elvis, and then into movies Elvis. But admittedly, I don't watch the movies as much as I watch the 68 Comeback Special and Elvis in Vegas in the 70s Elvis. Mm. And so he did fine. But then you get to the 68 Comeback Special when he's walking out with the leather fucking outfit, and he gets on, and I'm going, and I don't know if you ever saw me. You were down at the end of the row when he comes out there. I
stood up.
I'm like, fuck. He's nailing it. It's almost like I was watching an Olympic event, like figure skating, and I'm watching. Okay, get through it. Okay, you got to do this move. You got to do that move there. Land that, and then and I'm like, he fucking nailed it. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. And then when in Vegas, right when he's doing Suspicious Minds, and then when he's doing Polk Salad Annie, he fucking nailed it to the point where I'm watching it. And just even for a minute, I'm thinking, I lost myself in the movie where I almost felt like I was watching Elvis on stage. And I can't give a bigger compliment than that. He was so fucking good. He was so good that the biggest hardcore Elvis fan that I know, I have no complaints about his portrayal as Elvis. And I've never watched any actor do that and not bitch about something. Bitch about even they went to this painstaking effort to every outfit when they did the montage of his tour in the 70s.
15 shows in 15 days.
All those, I think everything was right. Everything was fucking, and I
would have no idea if it was right or wrong.
Right, but I appreciated that so much, and I'm sitting there the whole time thinking,
well, I mean, it's phenomenal to hear that attention to detail.
My mom would love this. My Uncle Phil would love this. They loved Elvis, and they saw Elvis in concert at Municipal Auditorium in Kansas City. And so, but they would have loved every fucking second of that movie. And it was described kind of as a rock opera by one reviewer, whatever. But I'm just telling you, it was a visual.
The way it was directed, the way it was produced.
If you've seen Moulin Rouge, then you get Baz Luhrmann and how he does shit. But
there's several times that you like, where are you going with this? And it's like, all right.
It was a trip, man, right?
No, it was.
And the first half was so fast paced, and you were like, fuck, man.
I mean,
it was like a ride.
And the guy who played B.B. King, phenomenal. Like all the everybody else that cast was awesome.
And I'm so glad that they portrayed Colonel Tom Parker as the snake, as the fucking snake that he was, because you do have to give him some credit. He was the guy that created the myth of Elvis early on and all that, but he was a fucking no good liar,
degenerate
that milked every last ounce of life and money and every last cent out of Elvis, and that's what he was. And I thought that they were going to give him a soft touch and make him more of a sympathetic character, and I'm so glad that they didn't.
Well, I mean,
I'm so glad they didn't, because they fucking got that right.
They told the truth, right? I mean, that's not only been proven. Like reading a year after Elvis passed, they find his estate sued him and found all kinds of shit that he was doing.
And as someone, taking it back to what we were talking about earlier, as someone, and I maybe think you can understand this too, as someone who was so unbelievably vulnerable right after my mom passed away, I was like in a free fall. I was in such a bad state. And you saw in that movie, they did a great job of illustrating how Colonel Tom Parker preyed on Elvis's unbelievable vulnerability right after his mom died, because Elvis just didn't, and they showed that he had a kind of a colder relationship with his dad, and he didn't really trust his dad. He loved his dad. His dad spent time in the joint. He defended his dad, but he was the he was the epitome of being a mama's boy. And when he lost his mom like that, he blamed himself, and he was so vulnerable. And the fucking Colonel Tom Parker, remember his dad wouldn't even go comfort him.
Yeah, right.
I can't go comfort him. He's,
Right.
You need to go do that for me. And as soon as he did that, he gave him the keys to Elvis.
Yep.
And he went in there and just jumped in the place of his mom, and that's why Elvis was so dependent on him. And people don't fucking understand that.
I mean, that's what he said. Like you're like a father figure to me. I mean, like he.
But didn't
took
that hit-
advantage-
didn't that strike a chord with you?
Absolutely. I mean, he wouldn't even leave the closet. I mean, like I can identify with that, right? I mean, it's like he was at probably the most vulnerable place he was ever gonna be at, and he fucking put his hooks in him right there.
And you know what you'll like about this? So Austin Butler, I was watching the interview. He was on
Fallon.
Jimmy Fallon, right? And he said he went and met with Priscilla, and he went to Graceland, spent the whole day in Graceland because Priscilla said, I truly believe Elvis's spirit is here. Stay here for a while. He spent the whole day by himself, right? They let him go in the jungle room and gave him one of fucking Elvis's guitars.
Wow.
And he sat there and just played his guitar and sang and just.
I mean, that part of the performance was just awestruck. Like for him to sing,
right, and the dance and everything.
Yeah,
like, but the way he walked, every fucking thing.
No, but for him to be like, I would get it if like, hey, I don't want to. I'd rather lip sync Elvis.
Right.
I fucking get
it had
that.
to be authentic.
But right, like for him to like, it
But
kind of reminds me
here's
of
how you're gonna love
Joaquin
it.
Phoenix's portrayal of Johnny Cash.
Yeah, that was great.
Like, yeah. I mean, like that level of acting is just like out of the stratosphere.
And so here's how I connected with him, and I think you'll appreciate this. I don't think you know this. He said that, anyone that was around Elvis looked up to him like he was 40 feet tall. And he was trying to find a way to humanize Elvis, to humanize a superhero in so many people's eyes. And he wanted to do justice to his family and the millions of crazy-ass fucking fans like me that are going to judge everything is, you better not fuck this up.
Right.
And she even fucking told him, Priscilla goes up to him and gives him a hug. She goes, you got big shoes to fill.
Right.
But you got a lot of support. And so he found out. He goes, then I started doing my research, and I found out, I want to say it was 22 or 23, 22. He said, I found out that Elvis lost his mom. This is Austin Butler talking. Elvis lost his mom at the same age I lost my mom.
Wow.
And he said, there was a connection.
Yep.
That humanized him. And then I was able to immediately connect because we lost our moms at the same age.
That.
Now tell me that doesn't give you fucking goosebumps.
I mean, that's not that's not coincidence,
right?
That dude was meant to play that part.
He goes, once I realized that and researched that and connected with him on that level,
I mean,
then everything else
ascended from there.
Everything else, but isn't that there's not something beautiful about that?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. But it's like I don't believe in coincidences in my life. Like that's not coincidence.
That kid was born to play Elvis,
right. That's not a coincidence.
And he had to in that scene. When he was grieving the loss of his mother, he was calling on the same exact
How do you not?
experience he
You
had.
just dive into those emotions. I mean, that's not.
So tell me, give me a minute or two what you thought of the movie and what you would tell people about it that are deciding whether they should go see it.
I would say you should, if you're somebody who doesn't like long movies, do not be shied away from this because like 2 hours and 37 minutes flew by. Like that's how I know like it was quality entertainment. Like I can't pinpoint, like, usually you sit in a movie for 2.5 hours, 240 or whatever.
Right.
You're usually like, you know what? Here's about 3 or 4 different parts that 5-6 minutes here that you can carve out. Like, I don't think you could take anything out. Like, everything was so perfectly placed. And the story, for me, I'm a novice. I became an Elvis fan after I met you, right? I like Elvis because you have impressed Elvis upon me, but I
forced him on you.
but also it's like I watched Elvis live last night, the same performance 20 literally, I mean 20 times, like blown away, like because I don't know a whole lot of Elvis.
There's something in the movie that we don't want to give away,
right?
That the live performance and you kept watching the
right
that you
over and over again.
You were so touched by it, right?
Completely touched, like taken over by it. Like emotionally took me to a different place. Like kind of what the Colonel talked about. Like, grab somebody to an emotion and then you don't know if you're like that's. I was like, man, like I've never felt this way about Elvis before. That's what that movie did.
Tom Hanks was a conniving motherfucker in that, wasn't he? You could see him, just the puppet strings, everything else.
From the get-go.
Like I told you that fucking foreshadowing when he had Elvis in that fun house.
Oh yeah.
And he goes, you went out. He goes, let me show you the way.
Let me show you.
I'm going to take you in the fun house of life and the
Carnival. Carney.
And what did Elvis say? And this is a great song, "Suspicious Minds." I'm caught in a trap.
Right.
I can't walk out.
He was, man.
And then
It's crazy.
The reason I knew it was a good movie and it wasn't too long is because I'm 49 years old and I battle this all the time. I never had to pee. 'Cause I always had to pee. Like, oh man, I gotta go. I'm gonna have to hold it to the end of this thing. But I love that movie with all my heart.
It's fantastic.
It was
I mean,
great.
I think there will be several awards that movie wins.
And what you'll like is Baz Luhrmann, the director, has already said
Yeah.
there's a 4-hour version of that
boy.
movie.
Oh, boy.
And they made him cut like fucking an hour and 20 minutes. Like they didn't have this when he goes to the White House to meet Nixon. They did that. They filmed that.
Wow.
But they did. But
so there'll be an extended cut.
I hope. But he said there is. He goes. I'm not saying it's going to be. He goes, but there is a 4-hour version of this movie that exists.
right. No, it'll be released.
And then I was like, boing.
right. Because you know, I mean, people are crazy and want to watch it.
Oh, you know, I bet I want to fucking see that.
know.
That could have been 10 hours. I don't give a shit. Well, we said a lot, but you give it out of 5 popcorn boxes or five bottles of Kangen water. How many bottles?
I give it 4.
Wow.
4 bottles. 4.5. 4.5.
5.
I know that's too. I don't give anything perfect. Nothing's perfect.
All right, man.
4.5.
What do you got in your hands? What's that again?
My mega rods.
Yeah, well, we'll just leave it at that. He's got his show him the mega rods, just so we know we're not
They're my grounding rods.
He's got his grounding
Tachyon.
rods. Now he's got his mega rods. That means
Tachyon.
until next week, ladies and gentlemen, the microphone is off.
Hello there, it is me. I am totally Stephen St. John, and this is my counterpart, Nate Bucati. Listen to the Border Patrol every weekday morning with me, totally Stephen St. John, and this, Nathaniel Bucati.
Well said.